Looks like we are live. Hello, everybody. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. All right, so we got a little bit of some weather to discuss here. Just make sure everything's up and running. The last time I tried to stream from this computer, OBS was not working well at all, and it looks like it's working beautifully right now. Hello. Hi, Stephanie. Hello, Delvin. How are you doing? It's been a while since I've been on a live stream. Delvin, how has the sunset times changed since the last time I was live? And Steph, where's Meg or Gary? I thought they'd be on as well. Everything's looking good. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, Delvin, I'm starting to definitely notice it now. In the beginning, it's when you're near the solstice, as you start losing daylight, you don't notice it as much, but I'm definitely starting to notice it now. And let me see about Meg. Meg should be on here too. Well, Steph, I just texted Meg, so we'll see if she joins. All right, so we do have a little bit of weather to discuss. Got a couple people in here. We'll see if anybody else joins. Yeah, once we start getting to that end of June, beginning of July, that's when it really starts to become noticeable for the sunrise changes. But oh, side note, did anybody watch the launch of the Mars rover, Perseverance? It was exciting to see that we're going back to Mars and we're gonna be flying a helicopter on Mars. I thought that was really weird that we're gonna first type of any kind of aerial vehicle being flown on another planet. All right, let me get a couple of things up here and we're going to start taking a look around. The biggest thing is we're going to have the National Hurricane Center up, along with our good old tropical tidbits forecast models. And just bring those up here as well. Oh, I don't think I set up my hotkeys for this computer yet. We're going to take a look at the bigger picture first on the different forecast models and get a little bit more zoomed into the Northeast. So I got the GFS forecast model up. I'm going to bring up the European now. So there's the European. Let's bring up the German icon model. If it lets me. Hold on. There we go. And the NAM. Now, the NAM is not going to be long enough range because it only goes 84 hours out. So it's not going to be able to go out for the hurricane for our area, but it'll show where its path is going to be going for the weekend. Then it'll just show us our weekend weather, too. That's because the past few days I have been kind of AWOL from the meteorological scene. All right. Let me switch on over here. All right, so now we're going to take a look at a couple of things here. So the first thing I want to start with is the National Hurricane Center. The latest 5 p.m. OBS should be out. 4:49, so that was just updated then. Isaias. This I did not know how to pronounce at first until I heard somebody else pronouncing it. And then I looked at the pronunciation guide that the National Hurricane Center sent out to us. And it gives us the hurricane names for the next 5 years. So I have all the hurricane names for the Atlantic and the Pacific through 2025. And this one is pronounced Isaias. All right, let me get this cone here. All right, there we go. So this is where I've had a lot of people talking about the cone of uncertainty. So there's a couple things I do want to talk about the National Hurricane Center's cone first before we go any further in discussing it. So the cone of uncertainty is not where the storm is going to be. It's where the eye of the storm is going to be. So that means if the storm is big, and let me see if I can pull up the radar here. Well, there's some storms to the south there. Let's make that a little bit bigger. Okay. Let me see if it's out here. I'm not sure if it'll come up. Yeah, there's just nothing. Not big enough. Anyway. Once we're starting to see the hurricane make its way across the Caribbean islands, you start to see the cone get a little bit wider. And then there's this just shaded part and this dotted part of the cone of uncertainty. And you see these little icons in here. So S is tropical storm. And this is where it'll show right there. Tropical storm is 39 mile per hour wind or 38 mile per hour winds and under. Then we're starting to, 39 mile per hour to 73 mile per hour winds. Hurricane starts at 74 miles per hour. So that's where we're going to be seeing maybe it weaken by the time it gets to us in the northeast, but it's still going to be a bit impactful. And basically, as it gets wider, the eye of the hurricane can be anywhere in this cone. So if the eye is here and the storm is this big, that means we're going to still be getting an impact. If the eye happens to come right up over New Jersey going into New York, then that means the entire area is going to see some sort of impact from that. So it looks like it's going to, from the National Hurricane Center here, maintain hurricane strength through most of the east coast of Florida until just before it gets to Georgia there. And the red is all hurricane warnings. The blue there is tropical storm warnings. And this is showing a time frame of what the National Hurricane Center is forecasting. The issue with this is not necessarily for us coming over the weekend. The issue is actually going to be for the astronauts coming from the International Space Station. Now, they're supposed to start coming down on Sunday. And when they start coming down, the capsule, the Dragon capsule, is going to be landing in the ocean. So the ocean has to be clear. So if the astronauts are landing in the middle of a hurricane, that just can't happen. So it would have to be moved instead of in the Atlantic there, maybe in the Gulf of Mexico or even the Pacific Ocean. So that would be maybe one option. Or they would just delay and just stay in the International Space Station a little bit longer. So that's going to be one of the impacts, too, is the space station. But it looks like from this, the hurricane strength, at least 74 mile per hour winds, that's going to be pretty bad for Florida, especially when you take into account COVID-19. So with coronavirus COVID-19, a lot of the testing sites have already been shut down, and a lot of the tents, all that's been broken down. So they just totally broke down all these testing sites and just stopped testing just because they're preparing for the landfall of this hurricane. So that's something that's going to be a little bit tricky, especially with Florida being one of the hot spots for the virus right now. So that's what the cone is showing right now. And it looks like the eye is going to be somewhere on or near the East Coast all the way up. And there's a couple of driving factors around that. With this, we have the subtropical high that would be out in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and that spins clockwise, which is kind of where this flow is coming from. It's coming around the clockwise flow of that subtropical high. So let's start taking a look at these forecast models and see what's going on here. All right, so I have the GFS up. Let me just have the GFS load every frame here. It didn't load anything. Hold on. Let's give it a minute there. Maybe eventually it'll load. Maybe not. I don't know if I'm allowed to even whistle that on YouTube without getting taken down. I don't know why it's not loading. Let's refresh the page and take a look. There we go. Oh, it still didn't load. Let me see if it loads anymore. Okay, now we're starting to get some frames loading in there. Still missing some. All right, let's at least see what we got so far. So this is the GFS. This is one of the American forecast models. And here is Isaias. So when we take Isaias and move forward on the GFS, let's see where it goes. And it's showing here the millibars, 994 millibar pressure. That's a pretty good a hurricane. I don't think it's going to be any major hurricane. Because right now, what was it at? Where are the winds? Let me go back to there. So currently we have... Why am I not seeing? So there you go. 75 mile per hour winds. So that's a Category 1 hurricane. A major hurricane is a Category 3 or higher. So if it does strengthen to a Category 2, still not a major hurricane. That's all I really think is going to happen. And even down here, hurricane warning issued for portions of Florida, East Coast. Tropical storm conditions and heavy rains continue to spread across the central Bahamas. And there's also, we'll follow this Tropical Depression 10. So we'll follow that as well. Because I have seen before where there's been 3 hurricanes following each other. So that's been an issue. Where they kind of just follow in the wake of another. All right, so as this flows through, let's see, it looks like it's just hugging the coast, which I do remember last year, Hurricane Dorian. I was on a Disney trip in August of last year when Hurricane Dorian actually did it delay? I think it delayed. No, my plane had engine trouble, so that was why it was delayed. But I remember Hurricane Dorian was causing issues, and they were closing down Disney World sooner. They were doing early or a half day of Disney World just because they had to prepare it for a hurricane. But the hurricane never made landfall. It came within 20 miles of the coast of Florida, but it never made landfall. And because it was about 20 miles out of the coast, Orlando just wasn't as affected. And Delvin, yeah, your information is correct there. So if it doesn't hug the East Coast and it heads into that area, and that's where some of the spaghetti plots were showing, it would kind of go a bit more into the Boston area. So when we look at the cone again, where are you? There you are. So if we look at the cone, if it doesn't hug the coast and it stays out to shore, out to sea a little bit more, Boston is a little bit more in its eyesight for that. Pun intended. But what the GFS is showing here is it looks like it's going to stay hugging the coast, then make a landfall and stay right on the coast. And that's pretty heavy rain and strong winds all wrapped up in there. And the heaviest rain stays west of Boston, but it pretty much goes right over the state of New Jersey, through New York City, through Connecticut, Vermont, all the way up through Maine. So that's what the GFS is showing right now. Now, if we look at the European forecast model, I have that too. Can I go out a little bit more? There we go. Now let's go through here. Now the European model here, it is showing the landfall making, not hugging the coast of Florida, but making landfall and going inland a little bit. Then it comes back out to sea, so it looks like it breaks up a little bit there. And then when it comes back out to sea, it strengthens a little bit, and then comes back in, and then strengthens here, and then stays inland. But right there, it's showing about the same track as the GFS for the Northeast specifically. And that's pretty much right over New Jersey. But let's take a look at the time frame here. This is Wednesday at 6Z. Now, 6Z in Eastern Daylight Saving Time is 2 a.m. So 2 a.m. Wednesday, that's where the European is showing that. Versus here, that is 8 p.m. So 8 p.m., it's going from kind of the Delmarva area going through into Jersey. And that's where the heaviest rain's going to be. So that's kind of where I've been thinking when I was starting to look at things earlier was later in the day on Tuesday going into Wednesday. That's kind of where the time frame's coming together. Okay. So that is the European model. Now, I also want to see the time. So I have that 6Z. Let's go on the GFS to 6Z Wednesday. Now, look at this. Same time, 6Z Wednesday. Look where it is. It's just gone. So between these two forecast models, the timing is very off. And the issue is just because of the Caribbean islands. The forecast models struggle when hurricanes are over land. They do very well at predicting where the hurricane's going to go when there's nothing in the way, such as in the ocean. But once it's getting through those Caribbean islands, it's really tough for these forecast models. Actually, let me also pull up here the satellite. Just want to see if there's anything showing there. So nothing obviously visible won't work right now because it's all dark out there. But let's go into nighttime microphysics. There it is. There is your hurricane. So because it's still in the islands, it's having a lot, the forecast models specifically, they're having a lot of issues trying to figure out where the exact track is going to be. That's why the GFS and the Euro that we looked at so far are very different. Let me see here. The shortwave infrared. Nope, that's not the one I wanted. That's kind of what you're used to seeing with hurricanes, with hurricane graphs. So here, it's not the most organized. If you zoom in a little bit here, there's no real defined eye. I can see a little bit of rotation. I do see maybe an eye popping up over there, but there's nothing definitive right now. And that's the issue why it's not strengthening a lot. And it's not forecasted to strengthen a lot. So that's where it is right now. And there's a couple of steering factors. So one of them I mentioned was the subtropical high, which is that clockwise rotating high pressure system. You also have here this low pressure system, this synoptic scale system that can block the hurricane's path. So if this little bit moves out more and this stays kind of where it is, moving maybe a little bit northeast, there's really only one little window that the hurricane can go through. So that's the steering factor. If this starts flowing and going up through here, depending on where all of these little pieces of this system are, that's going to steer where the hurricane goes. So we saw the GFS and the Euro have very different timings. The position of where the track is closer. So if I just rewind the GFS, here, look at the center of the low, basically over the middle of New Jersey there. Versus the Euro, it's almost in the same spot. So the track itself, the Euro and the GFS are fairly close. They're not exactly the same, but they're close. The timing is very off. So this is showing, like I said before, that 6Z Wednesday, which is 2 a.m. Wednesday. That's on the Euro. The GFS, this is showing 18Z Tuesday, which is 2 p.m. Tuesday. So sometime between 2 p.m. Tuesday and 2 a.m. Wednesday, that's kind of this time frame where we're going to see the heaviest rain when looking at the GFS and looking at the Euro. Now, let's bring up the icon as well. So this one, I brought the wrong one up. Let me get the 12Z because this one goes out a little bit more. Let's scrub through here so it loads all the frames. Eventually. Maybe so, maybe not. There we go. Those frames are slowly popping in there. I was just checking the internet. The internet I'm seeing is very steady. Don't know why. It was just being slow. Maybe it's just the Tropical Tidbits site that's being a little bit slow right now. Okay, now that we have the icon model up, let's rewind here and follow the track. So there it is. There's Isaias. Doesn't make landfall. Maybe there makes landfall. So it's a bit more on hugging the coast. And then once we start getting into North Carolina, South Carolina border there, that's kind of where it crossed the line and stays along the coast. But this is also showing the heaviest rain out of all three forecast models we've seen. That pink that's right in there, that rain right here, that is a lot of rain. So if we look at this, this is a 3-hour average precipitation rate. So the 3-hour average precipitation rate, if we look at the pink, 24, and this is millimeters per hour. So if we convert millimeters to centimeters, let me see, I think that'd be 2.4 centimeters, which is about an inch of rain per hour, because 2.5 centimeters is just about an inch. So that's showing about an inch of rain per hour. That is a lot of rain. It's not the most I've seen, but for the amount of time that it's showing there, follow that little pink streak. So imagine that. So there's one 3-hour period, there's another 3-hour period, there's another 3-hour period. That inch of rain per hour, it's staying with us for quite a while, or at least staying with the hurricane for quite a while. So the west side, the front left quadrant of the hurricane, is the strongest one with rain in this case. Within this case. And this is also showing, just like the Euro and the GFS, the low stays pretty much right over New Jersey. New Jersey, New York City, Long Island, they're probably going to see the worst of this. And then it heads up through Connecticut, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, all the way up through there. So the track-wise, it's about the same. Now, I want to see the time frame. So here's that 18Z Tuesday, which is 2 p.m. Tuesday. It's right there. There's 6Z Wednesday. So this icon model is kind of taking an in-between of the GFS and the Euro. Because if we put all of these to 6Z, there's 6Z on the GFS. There we go. There was 6Z on the Euro. So 6Z on the Euro, it's showing right over New Jersey. 6Z on the GFS, it's showing it's over New England. And then, icon, it's starting to get into New England, but it still kind of is going into New York, into New England. So it's kind of in between. So that's where I'm kind of thinking the worst of this, it's still going to be mostly a rainstorm with wind, with some wind. And if it's still a tropical storm, that means we could be seeing 39 to 73 mile per hour winds sustained, which is a lot of wind with heavy rain. So it's not going to be a good day. I definitely expect some power outages later Tuesday going through Wednesday morning. So that's the overall broader look. And the NAM just doesn't go out as far, but let's follow where the NAM is taking Isaias. Just wait for that to load those frames. Eventually to load. There we go, loading in. So this goes through 2 a.m. Tuesday. That's as far out as it would go. Oh, gotta wait on the first frame. There we go. All right, so let's follow this. Oh, very interesting. See how the L just popped and disappeared? That means it weakened so much that it lost the center of rotation, and then it pops up again here. Very interesting. And then that's as far out as it goes. So it's still kind of following the same pattern. The models just struggle with any kind of tropical system, tropical cyclone going through the Caribbean islands. After that, we're not really seeing too much agreement, but some agreement. So this is showing it makes landfall, stays inland a little bit, gives some heavy rain. And then once it gets out near that border of Florida and Georgia with the Atlantic Ocean, it just pops back into the Atlantic Ocean, because the ocean is the fuel. Hurricanes really need 80-degree Fahrenheit ocean temperatures or higher to really be fueled. And that's as far out as it goes. Let's follow the trajectory. So the trajectory was kind of going along the coast. So I would say if the NAM continued, it would still make landfall kind of right on going into North Carolina, maybe right in there again. So that would be my prediction. Let me see if I have any ocean temperature plots in here. Did I have it in that last one? Here we go. The National Buoy Data Center. All right, let's take a look through here. First, we want to make sure we're in the right area. There's the hurricane. Hurricane Isaias. They plotted on the cone, which is very helpful. And let's see here. Water temperature, 89 degrees. Water temperature, 89. The water's it's warm. The water's warmer than the air. Right now, it's 86 air temperature, 89 water temperature. What we got here? Oh, that's a land. Is that a land's buoy? Let me see. Water temperature, 87. Ooh, I wish I was in the tropics right now. Supposed to be going on a cruise at the end of August, but I don't think that's happening. Actually, it's not happening. I wish it was, but it's not. Water temperature 84. Let's keep going north. Water temperature 81. Still plenty of fuel there. Let's now start getting into Jersey here. No recent data. Okay. Water temperature 79. So the water is warm enough to fuel this hurricane all the way through New Jersey. Come on. You can do it. There we go. Water temperature 76. So that's because it's a little bit more inland in there. But when it's near the coast, let me see if I can bring that one up. 74. You know, if that's where it all depends on the track for the strength too. Because once you're north of, say, North Carolina, once you get a bit more inland, the water temperature drops off quite a bit. So let's take a look here in Cape Hatteras. Water temperature 84, but if we just go a little bit more east to east of Cape Hatteras, water temperature 81. So it's still warm enough through there. I think this is plenty enough fuel for this hurricane through the East Coast. Oh, what's this one doing? Oh, what is this? The blinking indicates a tsunami station? What? Tsunami station in event mode. Are we watching a tsunami right now? There's something going on here. Let me see if I can reach out to my fellow meteorologists here. Which one is this? Sable Island Bank. 437 miles east of Boston. We have a meteorology group chat, so let me see if I can find out what's going on there. So I have not seen a tsunami event pop up like that in a while. Let's see what they say. Just saying, a buoy in the national database is indicating a tsunami. Wow, it helps if autocorrect really is spot on. Wow, I spelled the word tsunami right and then incorrectly spelled it to something else. All right, so let's find out what anybody says there. Is either it's malfunctioning, but I don't look like no malfunction. All right, so there's a picture of the buoy. Let's see. Steph, if you're still there, you like your numbers and your charts. Well, there is some charts. I've actually never really took a deep dive into the buoy data center. So that's showing 4,000. What is this? Not 100% sure how to read that. But let's see. Something happened. Water column height at station. So it was fine. And then something dropped here and then went back up to normal. I don't know what happened. Something did. Very interesting. We're seeing maybe a live tsunami. You don't quite expect some things until you find them. All right. So I'm going to give a little recap. Actually, let me just show you the weather for the weekend before we wrap up for today. Let's go to the GFS here. Okay. We'll wait for those to load. All right, so this is going overnight tonight into Saturday. First part of your day on Saturday, and most of the day on Saturday looks fine until, well, if you're more south, you might see the showers a little bit sooner, overnight Saturday into Sunday. But then a dry Saturday kind of goes into a wet Sunday. Not the heaviest rain, but it looks like steady, kind of on and off again, showers for your day on Sunday. Then going into Monday here, that's the tail end there. So this is a little bit more organized, so there may be some remnant thunderstorms that are possible. Nothing really too heavy overnight Sunday into Monday. Then again, Monday looks fairly dry, except again, once you get more south, southern Jersey there, A little bit more shower action until we start seeing Isaias make an appearance in the area. So that's the GFS. Let's take a look at the icon here. Oh, not all the frames loaded. Gotta wait for that. And let me change this into the local view, or the northeast view. Alright, so again, this is kind of your day going into Saturday, which doesn't look like too bad of a day. And then overnight Saturday into Sunday, that's where these showers come through with that system. Kind of spotty throughout the day on Sunday. Then going into Monday. Monday looks okay until we start seeing those remnants and pieces going into Tuesday with Isaias. So the weekend looks kind of split so far. Let me just take a quick peek at the NAM. Alright, so with the NAM, gotta wait for those frames to load. Load all of them. You can do it. It's the last one. It's always the last one. Maybe eventually. All right. So anyway, Saturday here. There's your picture for Saturday morning. Here's the high in place. It looks like it's be a fine day for Saturday. And then Sunday, it's more sporadic here on the NAM. But I would still say on again, off again shower chance throughout the day on Sunday. And then maybe a little lingering pop-up shower or storm overnight Sunday into Monday. And then Monday, we'll have a little bit of a break midday, it looks like, until the outer bits of Isaias start coming through, which is that. And then Isaias would start coming up as well, but the NAM just doesn't go out as far. All right. So, in conclusion, the weekend's kind of split. Saturday's the better of the day. Sunday's, again, a little spot shower here and there. With Isaias, it's looking like the second half of the day on Tuesday, so after, say, 2 p.m. Tuesday, going through until maybe 8 a.m. on Wednesday. That's where it looks like really the bulk of it's going to be. The models are kind of in agreement with the track, not necessarily the time. That's why I'm giving that kind of Tuesday afternoon through Wednesday morning time frame for the worst of it, just because the forecast models were just so apart. They just weren't together. And we just really have to wait until Isaias gets out of those Caribbean islands and back into open water. Then the models will get a little bit better with that. All right. So that concludes this tropical weekend outlook update video. So I'm going to try and see if I can still get a little bit more regular with the live streams. It's just been hard with starting something new with my other job and getting a flow with that. But I'm going to try and see if I could get a flow with this as well. All right, so if you're new to the channel, feel free to hit that little subscribe button below and the little bell icon so you get notified whenever I go live like this or I upload a video. And if you also want, I do have, besides weather on the channel, I do have some car stuff. I do have some climate change stuff, talking about climate change chat. So I do have a couple other types of videos on the channel with also gaming that I'm going to try and still do either Sundays or Tuesdays. All right. Have a great rest of your evening, everybody. Thank you all for joining. I will see you around. This is meteorologist Andrew Pinero. I'll see you all in the next video.